Brothers and sisters of Burkina Faso, sons and daughters of Africa, for too long we have been told by America and Europe what we can and cannot do. For too long they have decided what industries belong to them and what scraps we are allowed to touch. They steal our gold, they steal our cotton, they steal our land, they steal our people's labor, and then they tell us Africa is poor. They say we must depend on their charity, their aid, their crumbs. But I stand here today to tell you, those days are over. Burkina Faso will no longer wait for permission from Washington or Paris to determine our future. We will no longer ask Brussels what we are allowed to produce. We will no longer accept the lie that Africa's only role is to send raw resources to the West so that they can process them, sell them back to us, and make billions while our children go hungry. Today I tell you about a project that has made the so-called developed world tremble, not because it is about oil, not because it is about gold or diamonds, but because it shows that Africans can master industries they thought belonged only to them. It is a project they thought could never exist on African soil, a project they wanted to keep for themselves in their cold lands, in their secret factories. This is the mink farming project of Burkina Faso. You see, my people, mink farming is an industry of luxury. A single coat made from mink fur can sell for thousands of dollars in America's boutiques, in Europe's fashion houses. For decades, this business was locked away in the hands of the West and a few of their allies. They told us Africa's climate could never allow it. They told us our people could never manage the technology. They told us we could not maintain the quality. Why? Because they know that if Africans control luxury industries, we will no longer be their servants. But in Burkina Faso, under the sun of our land, we have built farms that rival, no, that surpass those in Scandinavia, in France, in America. We have done what they said was impossible. We have built modern mink farms with advanced cold zone technology, right here in our warm soil. This is not just a farm, this is a declaration of independence. Every mink we raise, every pelt we produce, is a blow against the economic chains the West placed on us. On these farms, we give the animals space because stress lowers quality. We design their cages with strong wire that allows air to pass freely. We control the temperature between 20 and 28 degrees Celsius, with humidity at 60 to 80%, exactly what is needed for the best fur in the world. We have solar-powered cooling for the heat, gentle heating for the cold, and an automated feeding system to give each animal the exact amount of protein-rich food it needs. And here is the key. We do this not to send raw fur to Europe and America so they can make luxury goods and keep the profit. No, we will process it here. We will add value here. We will sell our finished products directly to the world, bypassing the middlemen of Paris, Milan, and New York. They are angry because they see that this project will bring Burkina Faso not just millions, but billions. They see that our farmers, our workers, our engineers, our craftsmen will all benefit and that none of that money will pass through their banks in London or Washington. The West says they bring us development, but brothers and sisters, when they say development, they mean dependence. When we develop ourselves, without them, they call it a threat to stability. Whose stability? There is the stability of their control over Africa. From the mink fur, we will make coats, jackets, hats, gloves, scarves, collars, luxury items that rich people in America and Europe have been buying for decades without ever knowing where the raw material came from. And when there are small leftover pieces, we will not waste them. We will make cushion covers, scarf trimmings, patchwork. Everything has value. Even the fat of the mink is gold to us. We will extract oil from it, used for leather polish, for bag and shoe care, and in cosmetics. We will bottle it under our own brand, sell it under our own name. No more European labels on African work. The West fears this because we are no longer sending them raw hides for a few cents so they can sell finished coats for thousands of dollars. They know that with every step of value addition we keep in Africa, their profit from our resources disappears. In America and Europe, they keep telling us that global markets are fair, but these markets are designed to keep Africans at the bottom. If we sell raw mink skins, they will buy them cheap. If we sell finished mink coats, they will call for sanctions. They will try to block our access. They will cry about human rights and environmental concerns because they cannot stand seeing Africans control an entire value chain. That is why in this project, we control everything, from the birth of the mink, to the care, to the harvesting, to the processing, to the packaging, to the sale. We call this the complete value chain, where nothing is wasted, where every part of the animal brings income to our people. From the leftover meat and bones, we make animal feed, rich in protein, perfect for fish farms, for cats, for dogs. From the organic remains, we make fertilizer, natural, safe, restoring the soil instead of poisoning it with European chemicals. This fertilizer will feed our own farms, and we will sell it to neighboring countries. Nothing leaves our hands without adding value here first. Brothers and sisters, mink farming in Burkina Faso is more than an industry. It is a weapon. It is a weapon against economic slavery. It is a weapon against the theft of our wealth. It is a message to America and Europe: your monopoly is over. You see, they cannot fight us in the same way they did before. In the past, they used soldiers, then they used debt. Now they try to use laws and fake moral campaigns. They say they care about animal rights, but where was their concern when they hunted African elephants for ivory for centuries? They say they care about the environment, but who polluted our rivers with their mining companies? Who destroyed the forests of the Congo? Who burns oil without mercy while telling Africans not to use their own resources? No, their concern is only for their profit. This mink project is an example of what happens when Africans control the process. One animal gives us 3 streams of income: fur for fashion, oil for cosmetics, and byproducts for agriculture and livestock. This is how we make our economy strong, by keeping all parts of the chain in our hands. When America and Europe see this, they panic. They send their journalists to write lies. They send their NGOs to try to sabotage. They send their agents to whisper in our ears that this is not sustainable, but they are not worried about the planet. They are worried about losing their luxury markets to Africans. We, the people of Burkina Faso, reject their lies. We will produce, we will process, we will sell, and we will keep the profit. Economic independence is not a slogan, it is survival. For decades, Africa's wealth has flowed like a river into the pockets of America and Europe. They tell us to grow cocoa, but they make the chocolate. They tell us to mine gold, but they mint the coins. They tell us to plant cotton, but they weave the cloth. At every step, we are left with crumbs while they eat the feast. But with this mink farming project, we are breaking that chain. We are proving that Africa does not have to be the field where others come to harvest. We can be the farmers, the processors, the traders, and the owners of the profit. You see, in the old colonial design, which still lives today under the name of free markets, our role was to provide raw materials. We would sell them cheaply, and the West would transform them into luxury products, earning 10, 20, even 100 times the value. Mink fur was no different. For years, the West told us this industry belonged to them. They said our climate, our people, our technology could never meet the standards. They wanted us to believe we were forever unfit for high-value production. Today, our farms prove them wrong. We do not only raise mink, we raise them in the perfect conditions for the highest quality fur in the world. We control temperature, humidity, feeding, and care with precision they thought only their factories could achieve. We do not sell them raw fur for pennies. We make coats, jackets, hats, gloves, scarves, and we sell directly to the markets they have monopolized for decades. Economic independence means keeping the value here. It means every dollar earned from our labor stays in Burkina Faso to pay our farmers, our engineers, our workers, to build our schools, our hospitals, our infrastructure. It means we are not begging the IMF for loans while the West sells our own resources back to us at 10 times the price. It also means using every part of what we produce. The West wastes nothing, and neither will we. From the mink's fat, we make oil for leather care and cosmetics. From the leftover meat and bones, we make animal feed rich in protein for fish farms and pet food markets. From the organic remains, we make natural fertilizer that strengthens our soil without poisoning it with Western chemicals. This is the complete value chain where nothing leaves our control until it is finished, packaged, branded, and ready for the customer. This is how you break dependency. This is how you stop sending your wealth to Paris, London, and New York. And let me be clear, the West will fight this. They will send their NGOs to preach morality, while their industries slaughter millions of animals in secret. They will invent laws to block our exports. They will say we are a threat to stability. And yes, we are a threat. We are a threat to their stability, to their domination, to their monopoly over African wealth. Economic independence through mink farming is not just about fur, it is about showing that we can take any industry, no matter how tightly they have guarded it, and we can master it, we can own it, we can profit from it, and once we do, they can never chain us again. My people, for centuries, America and Europe have built their wealth on monopolies over industries, over technology, over trade routes, over finance. They create these monopolies by stealing resources from others and then claiming they alone have the knowledge, the expertise, the right to produce certain goods. This is not new. This is the same system that took Africa's gold to build their palaces, our diamonds to decorate their crowns, our people to work their plantations. Mink farming is one of those monopolies. They thought they would never have to share. For decades, it was an industry locked in the cold corners of Scandinavia, in the factories of France, in the rural farms of America and China. They told us Africans could never enter this market. They made us believe that the technology, the breeding methods, the climate control, all of it was beyond our reach. But here in Burkina Faso, we have shattered that lie. We have taken a so-called northern industry and planted it firmly in African soil. We have used modern cold zone technology to create the perfect conditions for the highest quality. We have trained our people, not in Paris, not in New York, but here, on our land, in our language, in our way. This is what frightens them. Because once you break one monopoly, others will fall. If Africans can produce mink fur that rivals Europe's, then why not produce our own pharmaceuticals? Why not build our own satellites? Why not control our own oil refineries? Every monopoly we break is a piece of their empire collapsing. The West will not let this go quietly. They know that their luxury markets, the same markets where a coat sells for $10,000, are threatened when Africans control the source. They know that if we sell directly to Asia, to the Middle East, to our own African elites, their grip on global trade weakens, and so they will attack. They will use their media to spread lies about our farms. They will send their so-called animal rights organizations to pressure buyers, not because they care about animals, but because they care about losing profit. They will try to convince us to sell them raw fur again, offering quick money so they can keep the finishing work and the big profits in their hands. But I tell you this, we will not go back. We will not be reduced to a supplier of cheap raw materials for Western factories. We will finish our own products. We will brand them with our own names. We will sell them directly to the world. And we will take the profits to build Burkina Faso, not Brussels. Breaking their monopoly is not only about mink, it is about showing Africa that no industry is closed to us. It is about showing our children that they do not have to leave for Europe to find opportunity, that opportunity is here in their own land. And it is about sending a message to America and Europe. Your days of telling us what we can and cannot produce are over. We will take back every industry you stole. We will reclaim every market you monopolized, and we will do it not with their permission, but with our own will, our own technology, and our own people. When we speak of independence, it is not enough to own the soil where something grows. True independence comes when we own every step of what that soil produces, from the moment it is born to the moment it is sold. This is what the West fears most. This is what they have always denied Africa, control over the full value chain. In the colonial system, they designed it so we could never control the process from start to finish. We mined gold, but they minted the coins. We grew cotton, but they made the clothes. We fished our rivers, but they canned and sold the fish. Every time, they took the raw product cheaply and multiplied its value in their own factories. That is how Paris, London, New York, and Brussels became rich, not by producing, but by finishing what Africa started. With our mink farming project, that theft ends here. We raise the mink ourselves, in conditions that guarantee the highest quality fur. We do not sell the pelts raw to Europe so they can stitch them into coats and take the profit. No, we process the fur here, we finish the coats here, we package them here, and we brand them with our own names. By the time a customer puts on a Burkina Bay mink coat in Dubai, Lagos, or Beijing, every franc of profit has stayed in African hands, and we waste nothing. Every part of the mink becomes income for our people. The fur becomes luxury fashion. The fat becomes mink oil, used for leather care, cosmetics, and high-end maintenance products. This oil will carry our label, not some French brand pretending to be exclusive. The meat and bones are processed into high-protein animal feed for fish farms, cats, and dogs, an entire secondary market we control. Even the smallest scraps of fur too small for a coat become trimmings for scarves, collars, and accessories. And what remains after all this, the organic waste, becomes fertilizer. But not the kind of chemical fertilizer the West sells us, which poisons our soil and makes us dependent on their imports. This is natural, rich, and locally produced. It will strengthen our farms, increase our yields, and feed our people. And yes, we will sell it to neighboring countries too. By controlling the full value chain, we remove the middleman who has stolen from Africa for centuries. We do not let the value escape to Western banks. We do not allow them to dictate prices or terms. When we control the process from start to finish, we set the price, we choose the buyers, and we keep the profit.
This is why they are afraid.
Because if Burkina Faso can do this with mink, then Ghana can do it with cocoa, Nigeria with oil, Congo with cobalt, and so on until every African nation locks the gates on the wealth leaving our continent. The full value chain is the chain we build to bind our wealth to our land, and the chain we use to break theirs forever. My people, do you think America and Europe will watch quietly while we rise? No. When the slave runs from the master does not clap, he chases, and these powers have been chasing African wealth for centuries. When they see us producing high-quality mink, controlling the full value chain, and keeping the profits here, they will not congratulate us, they will attack us, not with armies, but with weapons even more dangerous, economic sabotage, propaganda, and sanctions. They will send their media to tell the world that our farms are cruel, that our products are unethical. These are the same people who slaughter millions of animals every year in their own industries, but they will cry crocodile tears when Africans dare to profit from the same trade. They will send their so-called NGOs to infiltrate, to bribe, to sabotage. They will stand in European parliaments and demand import restrictions, not because they care about morality, but because they fear losing control of the luxury market. And when that fails, they will try to corrupt us from within. They will send buyers offering quick cash for raw fur, hoping to tempt us back into dependency. They will whisper in the ears of politicians, offering loans, contracts, or positions in exchange for surrendering the industry back to them. We must resist all of this. We must be vigilant. The battle for economic freedom is not fought only in the factory or on the farm. It is fought in our minds, in our discipline, in our refusal to betray our own future for short-term gain. If they try to block our exports to Europe, we will sell to Asia, to the Middle East, to Africa itself. If they spread lies, we will open our farms to the cameras. We will show the truth to the world. If they threaten sanctions, we will strengthen our alliances with nations that respect our sovereignty. America and Europe have used these tactics to keep Africa on its knees for too long, but we are no longer on our knees. We are standing, and when they push, we will not fall. We will push back. This mink project is more than an industry. It is a battlefield, and on this battlefield, we will win, because our cause is just, our people are united, and our time has come. This mink project is not just about coats. It is about chains, the chains we have broken, and the chains we will never wear again. When we control our own industries, we are not simply making money, we are reclaiming power stolen from us for centuries. From the day the first colonizers stepped onto African soil, the mission of Europe and later America was the same. Take everything, give nothing. They took our gold, our cotton, our diamonds, our oil, and they left us poverty, division, and dependency. But today, here in Burkina Faso, we show a different path. We prove that Africa can not only produce, but finish, package, and sell our own goods to the world. This is the heart of liberation, not just waving a flag, not just singing an anthem, but owning the means of our survival and our wealth. Our fathers and mothers fought with rifles to free our land. We must now fight with factories, with farms, with knowledge, with unity. The battlefield has changed, but the enemy is the same. Exploitation, dependency, and foreign control. Do you see why the West fears this? If Africa controls its own industries, if we stop exporting raw materials for scraps and start selling finished products for real value, then the entire system they built collapses. The wealth they used to fund their armies, their luxury, their dominance, it will stay here in Africa. And it will not stop with mink. From this victory, others will rise. Cocoa will no longer leave Ghana unprocessed. Oil will no longer leave Nigeria without being refined. Cobalt will no longer leave Congo for pennies to fuel Western technology. We will keep what is ours, and the world will come to Africa on our terms. This is liberation, not charity, not aid, not the false promises of partnership that only keep us weak. True liberation is when the African child can look at a luxury product and know it was made by African hands in African factories from African resources, and that the prophet built African schools, African hospitals, African roads. So let the world hear it. Burkina Faso is free, Africa is awakening, and no empire will put us back to sleep. The age of exploitation is ending. The age of African power is here, and we will defend it with everything we have.